Talking about Meghan Markle, the Hollywood world just witnessed something nobody saw coming. After nearly 8 long years away from the spotlight, the Duchess of Sussex is making a shocking and dramatic return to acting. Yes, you heard that right. Meghan Markle is stepping back into Hollywood, and her comeback is already causing massive waves across the entertainment industry. Now, if you've been following her journey, you'll know Meghan left acting back in 2017 when she married into the British royal family, confidently declaring that she had moved on from Hollywood. She said acting was behind her, that she was embracing a higher calling, philanthropy, global projects, and of course, royal duties. But this week, Hollywood didn't just get news, it got a plot twist. Because Meghan Markle has officially been spotted on a movie set in Pasadena, California, filming for a brand new Amazon MGM Studios production titled Close Personal Friends, alongside A-list stars Lily Collins, Brie Larson, and Jack Quaid. These are actors who didn't need royal titles to make it in the industry, and that detail isn't lost on anyone watching this unfold. But here's where things get even more interesting: Meghan isn't returning as a character. She's playing herself. That's right, Meghan Markle is making her big Hollywood comeback by portraying Meghan Markle. A self-referential role that's being described by insiders as less of an artistic decision and more of a strategic test balloon. A move designed not to tell a story, but to test the waters. To see if the world, and more importantly, Hollywood, still wants her. Because this isn't just about acting. It's about reputation. It's about image survival. It's about rebuilding a narrative that's been slipping away piece by piece. And make no mistake, the timing of this move is not random. It comes at a moment when the Sussex brand, once one of the most talked about in the world, is reportedly losing its shine. Now, the film itself sounds simple enough: a story about two couples, one famous and one not, meeting on vacation in Santa Barbara and trying to become friends. A breezy premise, a light script, but to anyone paying attention, the parallels to Meghan's real life are almost impossible to ignore. After years of trying to build genuine friendships among Hollywood's elite, she's now starring in a movie about that very same dynamic. It's the kind of move that feels both ironic and revealing. Because the same week those on-set photos surfaced, Page Six released a widely circulated report quoting multiple Hollywood insiders who claimed the industry is, quote, exhausted by the Sussexes. Not annoyed, not confused, exhausted. The goodwill that once surrounded their royal exit has, according to those insiders, completely evaporated. One source went as far as to say, the act has gotten old. And that phrase, the act, is sticking. Because whether Meghan meant it or not, this new role reads like a mirror held up to her own story. The Duchess, who said she had evolved past Hollywood, is now quietly stepping back into it, not as an artist returning to her craft, but as a public figure testing her remaining influence. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere tells a story of its own. Production insiders are under strict confidentiality orders. Studio representatives are refusing to comment. Amazon MGM has not issued the usual press releases or celebratory statements about Meghan's casting. And in Hollywood, that kind of silence speaks volumes. It's not excitement, it's caution. Studios stay quiet when they're afraid a project might backfire. And in this case, the concern isn't about box office numbers, it's about backlash. Because if this comeback is seen as desperate, opportunistic, or ill-timed, it could blow up instantly. For years, Meghan painted acting as something she had transcended. In interviews, she said she'd never return to the screen unless it was for something meaningful or transformative. But now she's back, not in a transformative role, but in a safe one, playing herself, under controlled conditions, in what some describe as a minimally demanding part. And yet, despite all this control, the stakes couldn't be higher. Because if audiences reject Meghan playing Meghan, it doesn't just hurt the movie, it hardens the industry's perception that her brand doesn't work anymore. Meanwhile, Harry is nowhere to be found on this project. Despite the film's theme about celebrity couples, he isn't in the cast, and sources say he wasn't even welcome on set. That, insiders suggest, might be the most revealing detail of all. Meghan's return isn't a Sussex project, it's a Meghan project. For the first time since their joint royal exit, she's making a move completely separate from him. And according to reports, Harry isn't exactly thrilled about it. Sources claim he's growing increasingly uncomfortable with how public Meghan has become again, especially with her new online presence and the way she's sharing glimpses of their private life. He's been advocating for privacy, while she's once again chasing visibility. This growing contrast between them is hard to ignore. While Meghan is re-emerging as a lifestyle and Hollywood figure, Harry has shifted focus toward digital safety, child protection, and mental health advocacy. One seeks the spotlight, the other seeks distance from it. And that's creating a quiet but powerful divide. Their brand, which once thrived on unity, is slowly splitting into two narratives. And Meghan's acting comeback might be the clearest sign yet that they're moving in different directions, parallel lines that may never meet again. On set, crew members described the environment as careful. Not hostile, not chaotic, but careful. People were polite, too polite. And in Hollywood, that's rarely a good thing. It suggests tension, awareness, and a fear of making the wrong move. Meghan wasn't demanding royal treatment, but there was an unspoken pressure in the air. Everyone knew that one wrong interaction could become a headline. People magazine described her as warm and easygoing, but those quotes, some insiders say, sounded rehearsed and PR approved. Behind the glamour, there's a growing sense that this cameo isn't about rediscovering a passion, it's about damage control. A way to shift the narrative after a series of public missteps and underperforming projects. Her Spotify deal ended. Her Netflix productions struggled. Her brand launches fizzled out. Hollywood isn't cruel to those who fail, it's cruel to those who fail and still act entitled to applause. And that's where Meghan's reputation is starting to wobble. Because in royal life, status is inherited. In Hollywood, it's earned, and it can be revoked just as quickly. Insiders say Meghan's decision to play herself isn't just a creative choice, it's a safety net. Playing Meghan Markle doesn't require emotional range or direction. It's the safest possible role for someone whose image can't afford another stumble. But that safety also comes with risk. Because if the world rejects Meghan as Meghan, then where does she go from there? The brand itself would lose meaning. And all of this is happening at a fascinating time. Meghan's return to the screen was announced the exact same day Prince William made global headlines for his Earthshot event in Brazil. Photos of William barefoot on the beach with children went viral, authentic, humble, and unforced. And just like that, the contrast between the brothers and their paths couldn't have been clearer. William, the steady royal doing meaningful work. Meghan, the Hollywood Duchess staging a comeback. The news cycle didn't even need to force the comparison, it wrote itself. Now, let's be clear, this isn't just a story about a celebrity returning to acting. It's a test of identity. A test of perception. A test of whether the audience still believes in Meghan Markle when the royal fairy tale is stripped away. Because for the first time in years, she's standing in front of the camera without a crown, without controversy, without the protective layer of palace drama. Just her. And what happens next depends entirely on how people respond. If audiences see sincerity, warmth, and genuine rediscovery, this could be Meghan's rebirth, a clean slate, a second act. But if they see calculation, performance, or the same contradictions that have followed her for years, this could mark the beginning of her final fade from relevance. And that's what makes this moment so fascinating. Because in the end, this isn't just about Meghan acting. It's about Meghan performing herself, and seeing if the world still wants to watch. Hollywood will be watching closely. Executives, insiders, and critics all waiting to see whether she can reclaim a